As we've
Put it
started,
with
let me pull it up and make sure that's actually working.
I'm assuming you're recording.
I am also recording. I'm doing everything.
He's a
Doing
he's
everything.
a true trooper. He's doing
He's
everything.
a true
Wow.
trooper.
He's in
I
the
like that.
trenches saving us.
True
Yeah.
trooper.
We're just here looking
Okay.
pretty.
I'm ready whenever you're ready. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to give you a thumbs up when the music is over. You ready?
Okay. Yes, I better look
Okay.
at you then, aren't I? Okay, I'm ready.
Let's start the motherfucking shit.
I did not layer the sounds very well, but whatever. It's all good.
Welcome yo to the Veteran Jimmy and the fellas will tell you about every single game that they play this week. News, reviews, and an indie
I just wanna say,
Stu
fuck
story
this game.
time and
I'm
Jimmy's
done.
Game breakers. Here comes Duke with the soundbite savior.
Game breaker.
Veteran gamers. It's the veteran gamers. It's the veteran gamers. Yeah, boy.
Pack 2.
Switch that console off before you have to press repeat.
Oh, I need your advice.
Yeah.
See, I got this friend named Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo.
That's the worst name I ever heard.
Hi, Joey
Hello.
Jojo!
Oh, for God's sake.
Hey, Joey
Just
Jojo,
go,
had a
go,
finish.
go!
Hello,
for God's
and
sake.
welcome to episode 804 of the Veteran Gamers podcast, where Duke's meant to put
Yay,
his thumb up when he
804.
stops.
No,
But he
no,
fucking
no,
carried
I
on
don't want to hear
playing.
it. By the time you started talking, it was ready to go.
I'm sorry, Joey Jojo. We didn't mean to be that rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Jojo.
welcome everybody. Chinny's away, and Stu still can't hear sound effects, so we are doing the best we can. Thank you for your
I
patience.
can, but just no music. I can hear the talking, but no music. So, go figure. Who knows? I've tried everything. I've uninstalled and reinstalled this week, thinking that might sort it out. I got the one from the website rather than Windows version of it, and that still didn't make any difference.
We don't know what happened.
I don't know why. Well, I know what happened. I got a new PC.
Just
And
shows that new isn't always best.
No, and apparently it doesn't make any difference.
Oh well, we'll have to persevere because the show must always on go.
It must always
So,
on go.
yeah, Ben is here filling in for Chinny.
Hello.
We're glad Ben's here, even if Chinny could not be here. And yeah, we're glad y'all are tuning in, whether live or in your underpants, or if you're
In your
listening later in the
underpants.
podcast. That's great. We appreciate you wherever you're joining us from.
We do.
How you
That's
doing, Ben?
great. I'm great, man.
Yeah.
I'm just
Great.
vibing. I've had a fun weekend. You
Oh
guys?
yeah.
Doing
What was so
anything
fun about
exciting?
your weekend?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
My cousin had a rock band performance in Birmingham, so I went to
Oh,
support
sweet.
him.
With the video game?
No,
Yeah,
You mean actual rock band?
yeah, rock
Plastic
that, I'd turn up
instruments?
for that as well. That'd be
Yeah.
lit.
Yeah.
But no, he's a drummer. So
Okay.
he was they're called
What,
the
on-
Ticks.
On the rock
Ticks.
band drums, I've seen those. Are pretty cool.
Yeah, I could never do the rock band drums, let alone the real drums.
They
Did you-
were.
were
How
you
many
any-
people?
What was your instruments of choice when you did rock band? Did you
It
ever
was
play
always
it?
the guitar for me.
Yeah, guitar for me as well.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
singing because I like a bit of a sing song. You know what I mean? I'm happy
I
singing.
hadn't got that from you.
Yeah, I know. You'd never know, would you? Never know. Do you remember? Do you remember when Chidi did it at EGX all those years ago
Vaguely.
when he got up on stage? That was about 2010, 2011. That was pretty. That was a long time ago.
Sure.
And it's when they announced Rock Band and they were doing this like, get up and have a go on stage. And they had this full-on stage setup. And Chidi got up and sang very badly. I mean,
Oh, Chidi.
he literally slaughtered the song. I think kind of on purpose. And he was prancing about the stage like, you know, like he was some sort of rock star as well. Which was
Yeah.
I mean, he had the
Jagger
hair.
time.
He did. It was in
Back
his
then.
Jesus years. Yeah, it was Jesus
Yeah.
time. So, yeah, it was a long time ago. It was, oh, yeah, flippy. And that was like 15 years ago or so, 14 years
So
ago.
how many people were at this
Um,
actual rock concert there for you, Ben?
Yeah, go
I
on.
would say about 100. So it was
That's
a good
not bad.
turnout, to be fair. He
Cool.
pulled in all the favors. It was like I've
Yeah.
seen relatives. I was like, "Boy, you're a family relative. What are you doing?" I was like, "Wow, he really called in all the stops to try and get these tickets." But the thing is, it was
Yeah.
down in like a basement. But oh, the heat! I forgot how sweaty those rooms are.
Oh, yeah,
Flipping
man.
it. I was like, I was drenched head to toe, and I wasn't even at the front. Like the people
So-
moshing and bouncing, I just don't know. They were literally dripping. It
So
was,
was like 89-year-old great Auntie Nora there then, was she?
uh,
Was it those depths he'd mind to get
you know
as
what?
many
To be
people
fair,
as
it wasn't
possible?
that bad, but I think it's because they're all probably dead by now. So if they were still alive, he would have probably dragged them to it. But he did very well, very very well. And then the rest of the day today, I'm going Glastonbury, and I had to learn how to do a 3-point turn, using driving a caravan.
Damn.
Oh my god!
Very
So you're
exciting.
taking the
That's
van.
intense.
You're taking a van
Yeah.
with you.
Turns out right is left and left is right.
That's right.
That's right.
Or left.
That's right.
Or
Or
whatever.
Yeah. That's it.
jackknife if you get it wrong.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Let me tell you, my brother was helping me, and I could just see him pissing at me like, "Yeah, you're not gonna do this if you have to do a through 360." He's like, "Go on,
Yeah.
just take your time,
Right.
take your time." But
Reversing for drive out forward. That's what I would suggest in a straight line. You know what I mean? If you can,
I'll
at
try.
all possible.
yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I've done this
So,
week.
so you're looking forward to it? You excited?
Oh, buzzing, buzzing. Well, I didn't have tickets last time we spoke to you, and I was pretty depressed. But thankfully, one of my friends in London, who I hardly speak to like once a year, and we had tickets. We didn't get tickets, and I was walking around the shops or around the park because I just needed to cool off because I was a bit down in the dumps. And all of a sudden, I got a phone call, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" As I pick up the phone, he's like, "Check your emails, bro. Check your emails." Checked it.
Oh,
He
snap.
got it before me. So that guy sent him an extra 50 quid, and I said, "When I see you at Glasto, whatever drinks, unlimited supply.
Did
You're
he
welcome."
say,
Yeah.
Don't you worry, Ben. I can hide you in my caravan. You've just
That's
got to
it, I-
stay in the wardrobe."
I did say that. I said to him, I was like, "This is either the cruelest prank ever. Like you've sent a fake email, and I'm literally gonna destroy, like, cry so hard.
He's gonna
or if this is
film
legit,
you.
I'm gonna love
He's gonna
you."
film you showing up, and then he's gonna like, psych, and you're gonna go, no.
It's possible with those lot, but no, I believe them. I believe them.
But how?
Cool.
Let me ask you this though: how strict do you think they are? Like, not strict like as in you can just sneak in, but say for instance, right,
Mm-hmm.
you built a false floor in your caravan and hid underneath it. Do you
Yeah.
think they'd find you?
Do you know what? You probably get into that section, but then there's another section where you have to go into the festival ticket section, and that is where the tickets, they have rubber on the back, they have UV lights that
Yeah,
have
they
to
don't
be in
fuck
every
around
year
with
their
that
position.
shit.
They have different photos. It's so like so precise and so.
So it's not
Oh,
like
it's
when
on!
it's not like when my brother went donkeys and people just used to randomly sneak in because there was no fence or anything.
No,
It's not
no,
like
they
that.
Oh,
are
see, your brother
serious.
ruined it for everybody else.
I know, yeah.
Now
Yeah,
Ben
they
has to
just used
sneak
to
in a
sneak in.
caravan.
Yeah,
It
they
goes in
don't mess
false
around
floor.
this no more. But the thing is, there's always scousers that get in. But I always just think that's because they're really friendly and they just can like talk their way in. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's called the Scouse Tunnel in Glasgow. They always
Nice.
appear and you go, "You guys haven't got wristbands. You haven't got wristbands." And they go, "Aye, lads,
I was
just a
told you didn't need them. You like,
Yeah.
you
know, mate,
sneaking in.
You know, mate, I just used the Scouse
know,
Tunnel," and then
It's
just
like,
walks
me
away.
mate was in there and he told me to come in the back here. I know I
Yeah,
can't do a
yeah.
Scouse accent. But
No, that's why we
What
wouldn't know where the
if-
tunnel is.
yeah.
What if though? What about this? What if we did what we did with Antonio at Eurogame?
Yeah,
or
Assassin's Creed
EGX?
style.
And Assassin's Creed style, you get someone with no ticket in the middle of a bunch of you and just sneak them in. Do you reckon?
There
could
you
do
go.
that?
You could try. You could try. I know that actually some of the staff when they check it, if you've got a fake ticket, like I know one of them that went famous was he had a woman's ticket and it was blatantly a dude, but he had all the makeup. He came in dress. He came in high heels, and it was that bad. They were like, "You know what, mate? You made the effort. Get in." Like, so you've got
We
to fully
appreciate
commit.
your desperation. Come on.
Yeah, like. So you either got to go one way or the other. You got to look identical
Enchantment.
or go way over.
Yay.
That's the way.
All right.
What about
Well,
you guys?
we are
What have you been up
a
to?
video game podcast. We're going to talk about video games soon. Anybody else got any other stories to tell?
Yeah. By the way, I am £1 off losing a stone.
All right. Are you
So,
feeling
7
well?
Weeks. Of course I am.
Great. That's the
7
most
weeks,
important part
7
is feeling
weeks,
well.
£13 lost. £13 in 7 weeks.
All
which I think's
right.
pretty good.
That is impressive.
Yes.
Only another stone and a half to go. So
Are you
yeah.
on the
no.
Ozempic?
No, I'm fucking not. I'm doing it the proper way. Yeah. Do you know what though? Right, you're saying that. I know so many people who are taking that shit now.
Oh, I know.
Do you know? Do you know
It's a
what's the
very
best
popular
one though?
drug.
No, but this is the best one. right? One of the girls at work who clearly doesn't need it because she's pretty thin already, but it's like, oh, I need to lose some weight. You know, one of these types of girls who are always obsessed with like losing weight, even when
One of
they
the
don't
girls
need
who's
to.
been told all her life that she has to be very, very skinny, and she's come to believe it. Crazy.
Anyway, whatever. She was the biggest anti-vaxxer in the building.
Oh,
right?
Jesus.
I ain't putting that stuff in me. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's gonna do
Yeah.
to me.
As
I'm
soon
not
as
putting
it's
that
something-
stuff in me.
See, that's
a
some bullshit right there.
slimming injection. Yeah, stick it in me ass. Go on, then stick it right in there. I don't fucking care. Get it in there. What do you mean it might be dodgy? I don't care. Get it in me ass.
That's the
effects? What
moral
side
failure
effects?
of the...
Yeah, side effects. Who cares? I'll be fine. What do you mean my jaws look slack now? I don't know. Okay, now I tell you.
We have
I'm
a very
just like,
unhealthy
you're
relationship to
hilarious.
weight in this society.
I feel
You're
like the government needs
hilarious.
to take notes. So the next pandemic that hits, they'd just be like, "It's a weight loss drug," and then
Yeah,
bang,
exactly.
implementation.
Ooh, gimme.
Bang, straight. Get it in me ass. Get it in there. But yeah, she's hilarious. I'm just like, I've not said it to her, but I thought it. You know, when you think somewhere like, should I say?
Do you know what?
Were
This
you
week,
an
I know.
anti-vaxxer?
I saw 3 people this week who were like, "Oh, I've lost weight, and I just haven't had the balls to say it. I just looked like, okay. One of them was like, okay, I can believe it. The second one I was like, maybe. The third, I'm like,
Yeah. And
I'm
they're all
like, we'll
getting it,
see.
they're all getting it dodgily online, right? Lying about the BMI so they can qualify to get it. Oh yeah, my BMI is really bad. Honestly, it's ridiculous how many people are just
is
sticking that shit
ridiculous.
in them.
Agreed.
Uh,
And we're obsessed with being
Is it
thin.
the same
It's
in
not
the
healthy.
US? Is it the same there?
Yeah, it's the same in the U.S. People are lining up for baby Botox. There's this process known as baby Botox.
What?
Not that they're giving Botox to babies, but rather you're using like baby doses, like half a dose of Botox, but it's for people starting in their 20s. They're convinced that they have to start fighting wrinkles in their 20s. And so there's this dermatologist, I was listening to this Vox podcast called Today Explained, and she was talking about how these women will come in and say, like, I need to get rid of these wrinkles on my cheek. And she's like, you don't have any wrinkles. She's showing her the mirror and like, you don't have it. But they've become convinced because of influencers and promotions from the drug companies and everything, that they've got to have it. And there was this one spot where she said she was telling her patients about how to take care of their skin and use sunscreen and stuff. And her manager at the clinic was like, stop telling them about sunscreen. She's like, what? They need to use... She's like, if they get skin cancer, they'll come back and buy treatment from us.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
that is
I know.
that
Isn't
is so
that sick?
American. That is
It's
so
That is
American.
it's
cynical.
so
That
sick.
is so cynical,
It's
isn't
pathetic.
it?
So,
Yeah.
you know, they don't care about y'all people. They don't care about you. They don't care about your health. They want you
They
to
want
give
money.
them some money. So
want
don't
money.
believe the
You
hype.
see-
You're fine the way you are. Be healthy. Learn how to have a healthy relationship to food, and don't fixate on what the image they're selling you on the TV screen is, because it's not healthy.
Now, I'm not usually, right, I've got to point out here, I'm not usually a conspiracy theorist. But right, I've got this theory. You know when they came up with the COVID vaccines?
Yes.
I think they could have made it so that you didn't need boosters. You know, that it was good enough to just cover that shit. You know what I mean? That you
Well,
don't
if
get
there
COVID
hadn't
again.
been flu vaccines every year, then I might go along with you on that. But that's the way flu
I
vaccines have always
don't
worked.
know.
So I
Yeah,
don't think
but
there's any
flu
evidence for
vaccines-
that.
To be fair, flu vaccines did not work the same as the whatever.
Well,
it
I'm not
was,
going
the
to
ones
claim
that-
any knowledge between
Yeah,
flu
they were
vaccines and
completely
COVIDs, but
different.
I'm just saying if you can find me some evidence, I'd be glad to hear it. Otherwise,
But do you know what I mean? Because
I'm a window
let's be
cleaner.
honest,
I have no factual thing, but I 100% believe you. I'm all
what does
in.
that matter? Yeah.
Yeah, absolute stitch
you
up.
know, it's true, right? Because let's look at this, right? These pharmaceutical companies that exist to make fucking bucket loads of money.
True.
Every company
And
under
if they-
capitalism exists for that reason.
Correct.
Yes.
But if they could create a vaccine that you didn't need a booster, what happens? Less money.
Well,
So
what
it's
you're
like,
talking about
ooh,
is called planned
let's make
obsolescence.
It just about good enough. And then
Planned
we can do
obsolescence is a
booster
real
every
thing.
year.
They used to make light bulbs, and then they were like, oh, let's make light bulbs that only last half as long. And they all agreed to do it. This is documented fact from back in the early 20th century. The question is, like, yeah, which companies do it and which don't? And it's hard to find out because it's illegal. And, you got to find evidence for it. But, you're
you
right.
wanna-
The problem is capitalism. Like this idea that we need to constantly be making more profit and growing our companies and having these enormous, yeah, that's Google, that's
Don't worry,
Facebook,
Rob-
that's...
I'm sure Duke will agree with this. Robert F. Kennedy will sort it all out.
course he will.
God. Why'd you have to bring him up?
Sorry, I wanted you. I wanted
Before,
to-
right.
Psychopath.
And we will move on to video.
Swimming
games,
with
but
his
before
kids
we-
in raw sewage.
Before we do that, the final. There is a company that I'm aware of that didn't do that, right?
Oh, okay.
And it was a tire company. Do you know which tire company it was?
Nope.
Nope.
Michelin. And do you
Oh,
know what
yeah.
they did? Right. So that is why the Michelin Guide for restaurants exists. Right? Because what they realised is people weren't travelling very far in the cars, and because they made the tyres so well, they lasted for ages. So the tyres lasted and lasted and lasted. So they weren't making as much money as they'd like, because obviously people weren't getting the tyres changed that often. So what they came up with, the plan they came up with was, let's review restaurants, but out of the way ones. So ones that are kind of off the beaten path, sort of more remote. And that encouraged people to drive further in the cars, therefore wearing the tyres out sooner. And from that point forwards, they could sell more tyres. So that's why the whole reason the Michelin Guide was introduced.
That's going to come up in a pub quiz, and I'm going to be thankful for you.
You
That is
probably
good
will.
knowledge. That is
I would
good
love
knowledge.
to have a source for that. That's very interesting.
You look it up. It's a true story. You look it
Well,
up.
I just did a search for Michelin planned obsolescence, and I can't find anything about that. But
No, look up Michelin Guide reason or Michelin Guide creation or why it was created, and you'll find it there.
Very
well, I'll do a little digging, and you go on.
You do a little digging.
Okay.
So shall we talk about what we've been playing? I guess we should do that. At this
I
point.
guess we should. Here comes the "What You Been Playing" jingle.
Where are you going? Story time's over, isn't it?
What you been playing?
What you been playing? What you been playing?
Right, so I'm going to kick it off tonight because I finished a game this week, and I know it doesn't happen very often, but I thought it was about time I finished something.
Oh,
So,
snap.
I know. So guess what game I finished? Guess what game?
Minecraft? Pac-Man?
No.
Call of Duty 6.
No.
Call of Duty 5,
Donkey
Call of
Kong,
Duty 4,
of course.
Call of Duty
now
2.
The official. No, I'm the official King of Kong. Did you not know?
Oh, yeah, huh?
I broke it. I had one of the original cabinets.
Oh, sweet. You have
and
a kill
I
screen?
I got the kill screen.
Just so
I
you
killed
know,
that
there
fucking
could
game.
be a Donkey Kong kill screen coming up.
Yeah, they're good.
I'm
No, there
Brian
isn't.
Q. What did you play?
So,
What did you
no,
finish?
What I actually finished was South of
South
Midnight.
of Midnight.
Now, I came up with a plan for this game because I hated the combat. I hated that shit, right? So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll play the game, but I'll only fight the bosses, and everything else, I'm just going to skip it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, skip all that shit. And got to the final boss fight, which was in 3 stages. Okay.
The Elden Ring.
A la Elden Ring, yes, 3 stages. Did the first stage, game froze halfway through it. Right? Just literally froze mid-combat. When there was a lot of...
Damn,
when
you
there was
couldn't
a
beat
lot
the
of
boss.
shit. Well, no.
He used his
well,
special ability. Freeze game.
Not really. So, fucking all that shit's going on. I'm like, what the fuck? And, yeah, so I was like, right, what am I going to do? So I waited a bit, and it jittered a couple of times. You know, when it was just like, trying to get going. And then it suddenly got going again. So, finished stage 1. Did that, no problems. And then you've got to hop from these, like, platforms from one to another to carry on fighting. Gets to platform number 2. Halfway through the fight, freezes again. Right? So halfway through the second stage
very
of the boss fight.
frustrating.
So I'm just like, oh my God. So waited a bit, rumbled. It was stuck in rumble as well. So the controller was buzzing its arse off, right? Rumbling away.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. And then started again. So I'm like, nice. Finished that boss fight. No problems. Gets to boss fight number 3. I'm ready for it. Here we go. Halfway through, gets to a particularly busy bit. Lots of explosions and shit going on. Freezes for a 3rd time. Right?
Fuck that, man. I'm done. Three
And then-
freezes.
And then that was it. It wouldn't start again. It jittered a couple of times, thought it was going to, and then it just stuck. And it was literally stuck.
Oh,
And I
jeez.
waited for probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I'm like, right, this is not going to happen. So what I did was, I thought, fuck it. I'll start the game. Hopefully there's a save point between stages, right? And then obviously I can just start stage 3 again. And
Sure.
hopefully with a reset, it'll be all right.
Hopefully.
So does all that stuff, restarts the game. right back at the beginning of the boss fight from the start, right?
crap.
I'm like, you're fucking kidding me, right? I've just been doing this for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Out there. You can fuck this shit, right?
Fuck
So I
this
thought, right,
shit.
well, this is best bit, right? So I thought, I know, because you can skip boss fights even. You don't even have to do them.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I'll skip the first 2 stages and then do the last one again, right?
Right.
So press the skip button. No, it skipped the whole of the boss fight, like all of it. So I didn't do any of the boss fight again. But I was like, well, I was nearly there anyway. I was halfway through stage 3.
Who gives a
so-
shit? Here we go.
So I thought, fuck it. So I
Fuck it.
didn't bother doing it. I did the final cutscene, job done, game finished. And it was pretty good. I actually really liked the story and I really liked the characters.
Yeah.
The ending was all right. It was all right. It wasn't terrible. It
Alright.
wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I've definitely played video games with worse endings than that.
Sure.
And it was pretty whimsical. I liked it. I liked the characters. You know what I mean? I liked how it
Sure.
all played out. And it was a happy ending. There was nothing grim at the
Yeah.
end of that game.
Yeah.
It
Glad
was
to hear
good.
it.
And there was an after credit scene, and that was kind of cool, just to wrap it all up.
Okay.
And yeah, it was good. I recommend playing it. Skip the fucking combat. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Like you
Play
said,
the
like,
game.
yeah, when you said it had that skip feature, that is good if you do hate that combat style. Did it feel like the world was alive? Because that's what, when I look at it, it does feel very it's based in Florida, isn't it?
No,
Yes,
it's
it's
Louisiana.
well,
Louisiana.
no, it's
Louisiana,
like
sorry.
Louisiana.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
it.
deep
Louisiana.
south.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
it, that's
Mississippi
it.
way, I guess.
The
and
Creole way,
Louisiana.
yeah, down the swamps. I guarantee. Get some Cajun
the-
cooking.
Cajun cooking, there you go. No, the art style and all of that stuff is very cool. You know,
Yeah.
it's a really nice looking game, and
Sure.
like everything about it, the characters, the voice acting is really strong. It's just that bloody combat. Like even at the end, right, the final boss fights were just a combination of all that boring stuff that you'd had to do the whole game if you were doing it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we'll just do a combination of all this stuff.
You know that
for
stuff you hate? Well, let's do all of it now.
Yeah, let's do all of it now, all that stuff.
Well, that's a lot of games, though. It's like, okay, all the
yeah.
things you've learned so far, now you got to use them all together.
Well,
But
it's
at
kinda
least you don't
cool.
have to like get the red. You don't have to lure the enemy toward like red, barrels or something, and then blow up the red barrels. I hate that.
No,
environmental
there was
combat.
none of that.
Fuck
yeah,
that
there was
shit.
none of that. There is
Good.
a little bit of that, but none in the final fight. Because in previous like boss fights, you had to pick up objects and throw them at the enemy to blow up on them and stuff like that. So there was a little bit of that kind of
frustrating.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was fine. I mean, the boss fights had no issues with any of those. I didn't have any problems. The only interesting thing at the end was, though, there was enemies that I'd never seen before because I've been skipping it all.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this?
What is
How do you
this?
fight this? I've never seen one of
What the
these.
fuck?
But it was fine. But yeah, I'd recommend it for the story, art style, voice acting, and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And
Do you
skip
think
the
it will
combat.
hold up in the future?
Does
In
it
10 years'
hold up?
Absolutely
time?
not. No,
No.
not at all.
Do you think though, if it, like, because I had this reminds me of like Days Gone. When I played Days Gone, the game was good, but when it first came out, it was so glitchy and horrible, and it was
Yeah.
just. And they never made a Days Gone 2, but now there's like a clamoring for it. Do you think in South of Midnight, if they sorted out the combat, would you be tempted to play South of Midnight 2, or would you be done with the series?
I think if they didn't do the combat the way they've done it and made it more of a puzzler,
Yeah.
like a puzzle game rather than a combat game.
I mean, if
think I might
you're
be more
giving
interested.
someone the option to skip the combat, that's a sign that your combat's not very good.
Was that already in
Yeah.
there though, or did they add that because of the criticism?
I
and
had
the
no
reviews?
idea. It was somebody sent me a message.
Well, we
that
played it
said,
pretty
I don't know whether
quickly
you-
after it came out, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
it came on
I don't know
Game
whether
Pass
you're
right away,
aware of
didn't it?
this, Stu, but you can skip the combat. It's in the options and showed me where it was, and I was like, it's doing that straight away. The problem is, the combat felt old-fashioned already.
Yeah.
Because it's that kind of little mini arena combat thing that you used to get in games a long time ago, rather than a more natural, occurring combat within the environment. It was just,
Right.
it's just a weird setup. But
Yeah.
anyway, enough said about that game. It was all right.
Yeah, it was
Well,
all right.
So Ben, as you're the guest this week, what League
What
of
you been
Legends
playing,
games have you been
Ben?
playing?
Actually, I've not been playing League of Legends.
Oh, get
I am
out,
still over it. I am
out.
still over it. I'm still over it. Like, I'm having a clean slate. It's a new me. It's a
No
new
way,
me.
man.
Yeah.
No way. Can't believe it.
No, I tell you what, I have been playing though. I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. Everyone's
snap.
jumped back on it, and I don't know. For
Classic.
some reason, everyone like on Twitch, YouTube's been starting playing it and reviewing. Like, apparently, they've stopped supporting it, but they've added. Do you remember when it was all those cards and you had to collect them, and it was like pay to win, and it was just awful? Well, they fixed it, but now basically you log in and it's all unlocked. Everything is. So you don't need to know no grind or anything like that. So it literally is like a sandbox mode. It is an absolute blast. The only thing is that I would like if they could fix it. There was a lot of hackers on the main game mode. Like I was having rounds where you're doing amazing, and all of a sudden you see a guy who's like no scope you from like. There's no way they're that good. Like it was unbelievable, and like they could crash the server. But besides that, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh my days! It's just a fantastic. I just wanted like an arcade shooter that wasn't
Yeah.
too serious,
Yeah.
and like it just ticks the box. That game. It's
It totally does. And like, there's
the
something
people-
about playing it in the Star Wars universe. Like, it's the same
Yeah.
basic game as
The
Call of Duty or
sound.
Battlefront.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
Yeah, playing it with
You know that
stormtroopers and
yeah,
rebels
the gun sounds and this, like
So
the
good.
imploding bombs. There's like, zoom.
Yeah.
It's like that. You only get that in Star Wars, like.
Right. Exactly. There's an
I-
aesthetics
I-
to Star
yeah.
Wars that is very satisfying.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like over Star Wars, basically. Like I've
Right,
not
you can
touched
shut
it
your
since
mouth.
Disney. But that Star Wars Battlefront 2 it's just
It's a
the
very
sound
well-made game.
design and the people who've made, and it's gorgeous. Like considering how old it is, it's
Yeah.
still that does hold up.
It is
That
a
does
good
hold
game.
up.
See, the trouble with Star Wars is that they're just fucking milking every
No, they
last
do.
drop
They do.
out of
Yes,
it.
of
There's
course.
so many television shows now on
Yes.
different bloody
Yeah,
aspects
yeah.
of it, and
Yes.
it's-
Once
it's
again, the
something
problem is
like
capitalism.
Fan fiction,
Mm.
fan
But-
fiction almost.
I feel like this Star Wars Battlefront 2 though, now like they've gave up EA, like, okay, we're not gonna make no more money out of this, we're done. They
Yeah.
unlocked everything. So
Right.
like you don't feel like you're being pressured by
Yeah,
EA to spend
sure,
money or
to buy
anything like
stuff,
that.
right, yeah,
And there's a great mode called Ewok Hunt. I don't know if you ever played
Ooh,
it.
I have not
But
played
it's
Ewok Hunt.
Basically like a little mini Left 4 Dead types co-op
Huh.
thing where you start off like there's 8 stormtroopers and there's 1 Ewok. And
Yeah.
obviously you're tiny and you've got your bamboo thing and you've got hunt mode. And the idea is it's pitch black. They're in first person. You can see all third person. And when they're not looking, you've got to quickly hit them with a stick, kill them. And then when they die, they turn into an Ewok. And then it just
Interesting.
keeps going and going. You hunt them
Yeah.
down one by one.
Okay.
And then the stormtroopers, they've got to survive until the ship lands. But it's about 3 or 4
Yeah.
minutes away. But honestly, some rounds, you think you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
And like, then all of a sudden, these Ewoks,
No,
if,
you're not.
if like, as soon as 3 or 4 of you drop, you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, because then you know
Yeah,
there's like
yeah.
5 Ewoks about to jump on you, and they could come from the sky. They've got poison
Yeah.
darts. They've got little stones. And like,
Nice.
yeah, it's a brilliant
The
game. mode.
logs
I really
smashing
wish-
you from both
Oh, yeah,
sides.
They can, and like, because you're in first person and it's pitch black, all you've got is your torch of the stormtrooper.
Yeah.
And obviously, stormtroopers are a bit dumb and all that, so they're
Yeah.
making their sounds like, what the hell was that? Like,
Did you hear
freaking
that?
out and like, yeah, the
Yeah.
game modes are really, and especially if you get a good Ewok, like someone who's played it quite a bit, they won't
yeah.
just kill you. They'll
Right.
like actually toy with you a bit, and it's
Yeah, right.
it's a fun game
Torment you.
mode.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I've
so-
never heard of that.
Yeah, it's worth.
Man,
giving
you're
it
not
a
gonna
go.
make me reinstall Star Wars Battlefront 2,
No,
man.
I'm sorry.
That's
It is a 98 gig. It does take
way
a while.
old.
to-
Yeah, that's not happening.
But yeah, it's
But it is
you
still a
know,
good game. Yeah, no doubt.
it is still a good game. And I love the Hoth mission. That is
Yeah.
like the most perfect. I don't know. Is there any other games on snow maps? For me, that's like my favorite snow map in video games. The Hoth.
Oh,
one.
sure.
Like it really
Yeah,
feels
it's very well done.
like you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you not played Lost Planet 2?
Yeah,
Oh,
true. Yeah, Lost Planet.
oh,
True.
That's the
loads of
one.
Oh, John Mouse loves that game. It's
Yeah,
like
he
he thinks
does.
it's the best game ever invented, or developed.
Yeah.
The one thing I wish
Yeah,
this game
easy.
had, and maybe they added it, but back in the day, the original Star Wars Battlefront game,
Yeah.
there was a game mode called Galactic Conquest, and like you
Oh,
just
I
took
love that
over.
mode.
You remember that? Like planet after
Yeah.
planet, and like it was so you could play it with bots. You didn't have to be online.
Yeah.
And like there was something about it that just felt very. I'm gonna just play around, and I'll just spend an hour taking over the whole galaxy. I really
Yeah.
wish they would have that now, because that was sort of like the gang mode in GTA San Andreas, where it's just taking over territory against wave
And then,
after wave of
and then
enemies.
every so often you'd be attacked. It's like
Yeah,
right, the
right, you'd have to
Republic have
defend
attacked
your-
you, and then you got to
right.
defend it. Yeah, They
Exactly.
have got kind of game modes like that, like the big Galactic Republic. I don't know if it's like that called that in Battlefront 2, where you have like different waves. So say you lose the battle in the first wave, they
Right.
come to your ship and they have to
Okay,
battle. But
sure,
it's
sure.
not quite how like
Yeah, no, I know
you
what you
used to
mean.
be with different planets
Yeah,
and all
right.
that.
Yeah,
But-
no, it's cool. I mean, they've got a lot of game modes, and this game is very well made. It can't all be the same as back in the day, but
Yeah.
Star
The,
Wars.
the internet's claiming for a Star Wars Battlefront 3, and I'm telling you, I don't think we'll get it because Star Wars Battlefront 2, in like back in the day, the PS2 version, that's
Yeah.
the one we wanted. Never
Oh,
got
yeah.
a third. It just
Right.
feels right to not get a third.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm with you on that.
But-
Do we need a third? Does it
No,
need to
that's
be one?
literally what I said. I was like, dude, Star Wars Battlefront 2, this version is brilliant
Yeah.
as well. Don't need
It
a
is
third.
brilliant.
But
We don't need a third.
yeah, that's what I've been playing. What about you,
All
Duke?
right. Yeah.
Duke, it's
So, the main game I've been playing has been Satisfactory. This
Oh,
game,
God.
oh my goodness, this went 1.0 a while ago, and I had played it plenty. Whoops, I don't know how to spell Satisfactory. Right. I had played it before the 1.0 drop, but when 1.0 came out, I was like, all right, I'll give it another try. And the thing that I never did before was to use foundations, like to put floors down. And the reason that is such a game changer is because when you just build on the dirt or the sand or the, the hills or whatever it is, you just have stuff going everywhere, right? It's a lot harder to keep track of what is where. But this time around, I put the foundations down, and like I figured out how to. First of all, there's a way to make the conveyor belts move in straight lines rather than just spaghetti, as they call it, just twisting everywhere. So the combination of putting down floors, organizing your conveyor belts. I organized my tool belt as well. Like you can have multiple tool belts. So when I played it the first few times, I would just open up the build menu and then choose what I want to build and then do it that way. And it just takes a lot longer. Whereas if you put it in your tool belt, you're like, okay, ready to go. Put this down. Yeah, conveyor. Okay. And it just makes everything, you streamline the way you play it. So I'm building proper factories now. I'm using verticality so that I can, split the iron pieces that are coming from here, and then some of them go here, some of them go there. It's a lot easier to fix bottlenecks when you can figure out what's where and what's going into where. I've just been addicted as hell for basically 2 weeks now. And I had too much to talk about last week, so I didn't want to mention it, but I don't know if I'm going to finish it, to be honest, because there's like a proper story now, and like it has an end state.
I
Like,
didn't know that.
Yeah, it'll reach a point where like the whole game has always been like you're sent to this planet from a company called Fix-It, and you have to feed stuff into the space elevator, and the whole game is like an attempt to. So I went looking for like what's the best way to organize your factory, right? And because I had played that other game called Foundry or whatever it was, right? And that had you're selling stuff and you create robots and then you send the robot into space and then you're selling stuff in space and it becomes like a commerce game. And I was like, I don't care about the commerce part. So this game, I had looked for, tips for, beginners. And like this dude's like hovering around and he's got trains set up, running stuff all over the planet.
Oh
and
yeah,
I was like,
I've seen that. My friend used to play this. They used because you can do co-op on this, and they get absolutely addicted. But some of the ones on YouTube are just insane, aren't they?
And I was like, holy shit, because I had never seen hovering, I had never seen the trains.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, there's so much left for me to unlock. So I've gotten further than I ever have before. I'm really nailing it. There's all these levels of things to unlock, and the crazy part is that you can make your conveyor belts faster and faster. Like there's like 3 different levels of conveyor belt, and there's probably more than 3, but right now I've unlocked 3. But I don't have the materials to make the conveyor belts into the super fast ones, so my stuff isn't moving as fast as I'd like it to.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's a really great game. It's Factorio in 3D. And it's very satisfying. It's very user-friendly, which is absolutely essential for a game like this. And I'm just having a blast with it.
Yeah, because sometimes they can get a bit too finicky with the details. Like you've not got it in the exact order, and it's like the right piping is not in the right. Whereas this seems a bit more, like you say, free.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Less
And
stress.
Yeah, exactly. And in Factorio, you need to have arms that take stuff out of the foundry or out of the, smelter and put them into the conveyor belt. In this game, it all plugs right into the conveyor belt. And it's a nice feature because you don't want to be futzing with those arms and stuff. Now, there's still some occasionally, if you're putting stuff into a, machine that's going to make you steel plates and you have the wrong type of thing going in there, or one piece is the wrong piece that goes in there to make the steel plates, then you have to stop and deconstruct the belt and then, put it back into order. But whatever, that's not a huge problem. I'm loving Satisfactory. I think it's a really excellent game, and it's not procedurally generated. That's the other thing. Like, the maps are designed by hand, and so it's also, there is some combat, there are monsters, but that's not a big part of the game, you know what I mean? Like, they did a good job of keeping it minimal, and, you research. The one thing that's kind of annoying is that you have to research in like 3 different places, right? So you've got your main base where you're doing some research, and then you have the space elevator where you have to unlock certain nodes of your main base, and then you also have this like MAM, like something extra, I don't know what it stands for, but it's like this other research base. And so you kill monsters, you bring their flesh back, and then you can research stuff to use against the monsters. And eventually you get more and more resources when you do it like that. But your weapons are very primitive. So at the beginning of the game, you have this like zapper that you just have to whack them with. And then eventually you get a rebar gun that shoots very slowly. And I just found something that, like, in the tech tree that's like, okay, I'll be able to have a rifle that will shoot proper bullets. And so I'm like really eager to get that now, because although I'm not doing much combat, it is nice to have a proper weapon with you when you go out there to explore the planet, So
Interesting.
yeah,
How
it's
about
just
that? How about
that? It's a really fun game. I'm really having a good time with it, and I'm finally learning how to do it right. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know how many hours I've played. I've played plenty of hours of Satisfactory, and I'm just now figuring out, oh, this is how you make a factory that, like,
To be fair, I had that with, like, do you remember Prison? The prison game.
Oh,
we
yeah,
get to
Prison
build
Architects.
that- Prison Architects.
Yeah.
The first and Theme Hospitals and all that. The first runs of those, you absolutely mess up so hard.
yeah,
and
sure.
then eventually you're like, these are the
Right.
mechanics that make the
I
dollar.
messed up so much in Prison Architect that both the doctor and the nurse were stabbed to death by one of the prisoners.
That
They both got
happens.
shanked.
That
And I'm like,
happens.
oh my god, they're both there, like, dead in the surgery, and I'm like, yeah.
whoopsie.
Thing is, I would like, it's like with this, like, the foundations. I would have done the exact same thing where I'm like, well, who needs foundations?
Yeah,
Let's save the
exactly.
money
It
and do
seems
that.
like
And then all of a
it's-
sudden you're like, oh,
It felt like an unnecessary thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'll do it, but I don't really need
Yeah.
it. And
'Cause
then I
sometimes you think,
realized,
is
like,
it-
oh
yeah.
wait, it serves a very important
Yeah.
purpose, especially
You're
because
like-
you can stack floors on each other, and it's like, okay, now this is a game changer, because now it's all a matter of.
So let's just be clear on this, right? If you were building a house, aren't the foundations the most important bit of your
Yeah, but I'm
house?
not building a house. I'm building a factory.
I know,
So-
but the reason, the fact
This is
it's got
space, bro. You don't know how the
foundations
gravity
available.
works in these planets. You might
Gravity
not
works
need
the same
it.
way as usual, but no. I mean, look, here's the thing. When you first start playing, you don't have access to these foundations, right? So you have to put your mining machines and your smelters and stuff on the ground. You don't have an option. And so you get going that way, and you just kind of feel like, okay, it's fine. I can just keep going like this. And yeah, it's kind of confusing to have the conveyor belts going everywhere, but I don't need it. And then when I started this time, as soon as I unlocked the foundations, I started using them, and I was like, oh, that's why they're so much more useful, is because they're doing things you don't realize you don't realize how useful they are until you start playing with them. So I'm glad I found it. I'm glad I'm having a good time with it. And it's a wonderful game. So if anybody out there likes Factorio or Minecraft factory stuff, check out Satisfactory. It's a hell of a thing.
Hell of a thing.
Hell of a thing.
Right.
All right, back to Stu.
Yeah, back to me. Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Serial Cleaner, because I've played more of
You
this
mean
game
crime
this week.
scene cleaner?
Crime scene. I keep thinking it's a serial
Yes.
killer cleaner, but it's not, is it? Yeah, crime scene cleaner. No, that's the one, isn't it?
Find some gruesome dead people.
Yeah. So, have either of you played this?
I played the demo
No.
on Next Fest.
Yeah, yeah, this is nothing. It is like the demo, but it starts off. Well, you think it starts off a bit smaller, but it kind of doesn't. And I've got to say, it massively scratches the Power Wash Simulator itch in
Yeah.
a big way.
Sure.
But more interesting because there's shit going on that's obviously not going on in. I can't recommend this game enough. If you liked, it's just so good. If you liked Power Wash Simulator and you got that, thrill of power washing something clean,
Yes.
you kind of do that in this game, but there's a lot more to it. It's kind of this. There's a kind of story to go along with as well, which is
Well, I would
kind of
hope so.
cool. Which is obviously way more than Power Simulator right there. You've got a full-on story. Shit happens.
Is it the mafia? Mafia versus mafia.
Well, there's just stuff going on. And like even the first crime scene is not what it turns out not what to be what you're expecting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I can't even just play the
No,
first
sounds
level. Play the first level because I was just like, oh my god. It threw a massive curveball that I just wasn't expecting.
Sure.
And I'm just like, that's great. This game is great. I can see myself playing a lot of this game.
Yeah.
And it is that kind of you get sucked into something that you're not really wanting to do but end up having to anyway because of what happens.
Yes.
And presumably you get good at it, so that's why
Yeah.
you
You're
get
the
it to
only
work,
one we
I
can
guess.
turn to.
Yeah. You had
Getting it
Hitman,
work.
now you see the side effects of Hitman.
That's
You're
right.
there cleaning it.
Cleaning up after hit. And I should
Yeah.
say, Shadow Warrior did this back in the day. They had a sort of a sub game or a mini game or an auxiliary game called Visceral Cleanup Detail, and
That's
it was all
right.
about cleaning up the body parts after Shadow Warrior come through and just killed everybody.
Yeah. But I totally recommend it. It's great. It's there's nothing taxing
there's a
about
puppy.
it. Yeah, there's nothing taxing. It just, takes time to sort all the
Yeah,
shit out that's
sure.
been left behind by, multiple people being murdered.
Yeah. Well, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, someone's got to do that cleanup duty.
Word.
And it's pretty lucrative. The money's
Yeah.
the money's pretty good. Money's pretty good.
Sure. Cool.
And it looks good. Graphically, it's great, by the way.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Well, sure.
So, yeah, give it a go. Crime scene cleaner, not serial
Yeah.
cleaner, as I'd like to call it.
Right.
I reckon Chinny would like
yeah.
it then, because he likes those
Oh,
cleaning
Chinny
games.
would love it.
Yeah.
Because not only are you cleaning up after somebody's been murdered, but you get like a little cutscene in between cleanups to show you what went on, why you're having to go and sort it out.
Yeah.
So you get a little cutscene and a little intro to every cleanup that you've got to go do. You can
Cool.
obviously level up all your tools. You can, make your bin bag bigger. You can make a mop that lasts for longer. So, because basically you've got to stick the mop bucket down, put some detergent in, and then, you've got to keep going back and washing your mop bucket as soon as you've cleaned up somewhere.
Yeah. Too much blood. It's not good for your mop.
Well, you just start smearing it around at one point, which looks great on screen. It's
Right.
a really good effect. But yeah, if you keep on mopping, eventually you've soaked all the blood.
Keep
up and
on
you have to-
mopping. Do.
Yeah, you end up with blood smeared everywhere, and then you've got to clean that
Yeah.
up as well.
Sexy.
But yeah, it gives you clear objectives. You know what you got to do. You got to get in there, get the job done, and get the hell out. So far, I've only done the first level complete. But there's not been any time things. It's not like, oh, you've got to do this in 10 minutes, otherwise someone's coming or any of that sort of stuff. So,
Just so you all
Intriguing.
know, for some reason my Chrome has frozen, so I don't really know why.
right, okay.
Oh, there we go.
Very
Now it's
cool.
working. Anyway, yeah, okay. Anything else about Crime Scene Cleaner?
No, it's great. Give it a go.
Okay. Yeah, just play it. Just play it.
Just play it, man. It's
Yeah.
on Game Pass. There's no excuse. Play
Sure.
it. If you like, Power Wash Simulator, you're gonna kind of love
You're
it.
gonna love it. Ben,
I love
you're
it.
up.
Very good. So I had last week, my friend, he rang me up and was like, do you fancy a PS3 nostalgia hit day where we just come around and play old games? So we played from FIFA 10 to modern day FIFA, one game, every single version of FIFA that ever came out.
Oh my God.
And let me tell you, I am trash at FIFA. I forgot how bad I am at FIFA. But except FIFA 12. FIFA 12 will forever be my game. That was the one game I could beat him on. The rest of them. So I made a note. FIFA 10, some amazing legends, but the graphics not so good. FIFA World Cup, South Africa, absolutely brilliant. They
Wasn't
spent
that
all the
2008?
yes,
Or was
South
that
Africa.
2012?
Whichever one. Whatever the South Africa one was, I can't remember which
Yeah.
one that was. But I can see where all the money went because every single shot is a picture of Maradona. Maradona going like this. Maradona. I was like, you can see. Oh, that's where all
Also,
the budget went on.
Vuvuzelas.
Yeah, Vuvuzelas. That game though actually was quite fun. Like some good mechanics.
Yeah.
FIFA 12, absolutely god tier for me. That's the one I used to sweat when I was young. But you can actually see the jump right from FIFA 10 to like, I'd say FIFA 18, 19. The jump is actually huge.
Oh, sure.
Like, because the EA every year goes, it's totally different, but it's the same. And you think, oh my days, is it really? But there is mechanical bits in it that are good. But we played FIFA Street. I don't know if any of you ever played that. It's like a street version.
Oh, that was
of
a
FIFA,
weird one with the big
where-
heads and everything, wasn't it?
Oh no. That was that version as well. But there's one where it's not just got the big heads. It's like kind of serious, but there's no referees. It's all about doing tricks and stuff. That one
Right.
was a good nostalgia hit. Me and my friend Barrage, we said that was like anyone could play that game and have a great time. But yeah, so I was sweating all the FIFAs this week, and
Nice.
the modern day ones, they are good, but FIFA 12, mate. If anyone wants to give me a game, FIFA 12, I'll be Aston Villa at Bongalow. He's the fastest player in the game, or one of them.
I want Britain to be back British.
Preach, bro, preach. But yeah,
Yeah.
we played all the FIFA games, and then we played some other old school PS3 games that I'll talk about in a sec. But
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. all those
Okay.
FIFA games,
Duke.
I had a proper meathead day.
Ah, why not? Duke, back to you.
Yeah, so a while ago, they put Garden's story on the Epic Games Store, and I was like, all right, this is supposed to be kind of Stardew Valley-ish, and you play as a little grape dude, little plum, I don't know what the fuck you are, and you get brought to this, you sent out of your sort of kindergarten land, I don't remember what they call it, and then you go to this other land, and it's all about like gathering resources and gardening and stuff, and it was fun enough, but oh my god, the dialogue just took forever, and it was everything you do. It was like, we're proud of you, and the pick was the first tool of Hamlet villagers, blah, 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 blah. And you're not used to combat, so you might just want to put out, it's a good idea to, shut the fuck up, let me play the game.
The grapes yap then. They're yappers.
Oh my god, they're all just talking so much. And then they're arguing with each other, and you're just like, I don't care about any of this. I want to go do the game. So I had to stop playing it
Sorry,
because it was.
Duke, I have to stop you there. I'm being
ahead.
distracted by Ben stripping off to his vest. What the
Oh, yeah,
sorry,
baby.
sorry. It's just
What
got
the
hot.
hell
Oh,
is going on
I
there?
told
What
him we
the
need some more
hell is
sexiness.
Yeah, he said we could be in your pants.
Yeah.
Holy
Ladies,
cow.
I'm
More ladies.
available.
We need more gay dudes watching. We needed to get some skin on this show, man.
Come on, gay.
Sorry,
dude.
you just got so hot in this house.
Oh, it's so hot.
It's
I had to
getting
pour
hot
some-
in here. I take off all my clothes. I am getting so hot. I gotta take my clothes
Anyway,
off.
if Stu's done ogling Ben now,
Yeah, but we'll talk. Go back to the grapes yapping.
Sorry,
yeah, the grapes are
grapes.
yapping so
Yapping
much.
grapes.
I had to stop playing. It was so annoying. I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to see what the gameplay was like. And, it was fine, the parts that I played. But, I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep going with it. It was the same as, what was the other game that I played? Oh, yeah, the one that wanted to be Genshin Impact. I don't remember what it's called.
Genshin
Wuthering
Impact, that
Waves
was-
or whatever it was.
All right.
And it was like, I posted a negative review, and everyone's commenting on my negative review. You need to keep playing. The game is awesome. And I'm like, dude, you don't get it. I can tell based on the first hour of gameplay whether I'm going to enjoy the dialogue or not. The answer is no. And if you don't mind all this yammering dialogue, then that's great. More power to you. For me, it's something of a game breaker. So, no on Garden Story. Cute concept, nice visuals, decent gameplay, but the dialogue just takes forever, and therefore I'm not going to waste my time. I don't want to watch a whole lot of cutesy dialogue. Blah, 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 blah. Here's this plum arguing with a mushroom or whatever the fuck. Get out of my face.
Yeah, Stu wanted to get rid of his combat and have the story. You want to get rid of the yapping and actually get on with the combat.
I mean, look, again, less is more. It's the same reason I haven't gone back to Avowed more, is because I know there's just blah, 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 blah. Kurt Vonnegut said, start as close.
Garden Story up your ass.
Exactly. Kurt Vonnegut said, start as close to the end of the story as you can. And these people are like, look, we want to make it whimsical and fun. And the way you have fun is by listening to a plum argue with a mushroom. No, that's not my idea of fun. I'm sorry.
There you go. The only other thing I've played this week, other than To a T, is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And I gotta say, this game just gets better and better. Have you played this at all, Ben?
I've not. I've been intrigued though.
Such a nice looking game, I'm telling you. It just looks great. It plays great. The combat's great. It's super interesting. The story's very unique in in a video game world.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on progressing and getting better. And the lore is great. And even like Jar Jar Binks, for instance, right?
Yep.
And how annoying is Jar Jar Binks? I mean,
he's very annoying.
He's meant to be this cute character. Everybody loves him, but everyone actually hates him.
Yes.
Okay. In this game, this like dude comes up with a massive backpack on with all this shit clanking on it.
Yeah.
And it's like the trader, but he's proper cute, right? And then he speaks in this really cool French accent, and he's super insulting, and it's just the coolest thing I've ever seen, right? I'm like, this is brilliant. And what's even better, he has, special stock, stuff like extra special things that he can sell you.
Okay.
But you've got to beat him in a duel to unlock it, so you've got to fight him. So it's like, it has this really cool mechanic.
As often happens when you go to a store, like, I will fight you for you to buy what's in the back room here.
Exactly. Yeah. This game is so great. The combat looks incredible. Like, the special attacks are amazing.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it enough. Even if you're one of these people who's like, oh, I hate turn-based combat, it's got enough going on that it makes it feel less, like more interactive, I guess, and less automatic.
Yeah.
It's got so much going for it.
I keep having students recommend it to me, so you're not the only one singing its praises.
Voice acting is stellar. Story is brilliant.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm hard pressed to find something negative about it.
Yeah.
I'm struggling. When you think, oh yeah, I love all this, but that's a bit niggly, or I'm not really keen on that, or that's not the best. You see, that fight there that's just happening on screen.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing because the enemies kind of blended into the background, so I didn't see them, and I just literally ran straight in them.
Yeah.
Because this has got like a first strike mechanic.
Oh, okay.
So so obviously if you sort of come across an enemy, you've got to hit them in the real world before you start the combat, and then you get like first strike advantage.
Yeah.
Which allows your players to obviously do combat first, and if not, they get their combat first. And it can be a massive disadvantage if that happens.
Sure.
So when I beat them, but it wasn't as easy as it normally is.
Is it like a softer version of Final Fantasy then? Like.
Yeah. Yes, the combat is. It's not. Yeah. Like in Final Fantasy, some bosses you need certain power-ups and all this stuff.
Gets me out of it.
Nuts with Final Fantasy. I hate it.
Yeah. Whereas in this so far, there's not been any of that. It's just
how many hours you got in so far?
Oh, I've got a few, probably about not low. I'm not going to say loads because it isn't. It's probably about 3, 4, 5 hours or so, I guess.
So you've had a couple of boss fights then, or at least one maybe.
A couple of boss fights. They've been really interesting and cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, my parties. I've got 3 in my party now, so I have 3.
Because that's the thing with boss fights is that like in a turn-based game, I understand why Final Fantasy would struggle. Like in order to make it something different, something special, you got to have some new aspect that's not in the regular fighting. You know what I mean? And it makes sense for Final Fantasy to throw in the materia that you need to have or whatever to counter the particular defenses that a boss has. But I just think it makes it annoying. So for them to find something else to do here makes sense.
Is it Unreal Engine 5 then? It looks like it is.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
That's cool.
It's a great looking game. But we talked about this last week because this was made by ex Ubisoft.
Yeah, they're their own
staff
developers,
members.
isn't they? You would
Yeah,
say
yeah,
they've
made
gone on their own.
company.
Yeah.
It's
Fantastic!
just
It's
so
amazing what like individual companies now. They don't need these massive companies to build these ones. Now they're like, no, we've got a vision. We're going to stick to it. We believe it's going to sell.
Do you know what though? If you played this game not knowing who developed it, you would think it was a AAA title. You would play it and think, yeah, this is top notch, kind of, cutting edge and just great. I can't sing its praises.
They've let it cook. Then they've not rushed it.
Oh yeah, I haven't come across a single bug so far. I haven't come across anything where I thought, oh, that's a bit dodge, or not even clipping. I mean, nothing.
Oh, wow.
I've not come across anything that I can say negative about the game. Like I say, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
So good. And even just the power-ups are great. You can even power, like when you do, like, power up your characters, and use your points that you've acquired from leveling up. One of the level ups is speed, right?
Yeah.
So it says speed. But it's not the speed you move at, it's how frequently your character comes up in the rotation when you're fighting.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of
initiative.
So it's kind of, and it's fairly simplistic. There's nothing too complex about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does a really good job of making it easy to understand what you're doing. I mean, even for someone like me who doesn't play a whole lot of turn-based games, I'm like fine with it.
Yeah.
But it's all about timing. So everything revolves around timing when you're in combat. How quickly you dodge, timing, counter-attacking at the right time. Hitting the X when it's at the right place to enhance your attacks that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just great.
I am super intrigued. It does look fantastic. And like you say, Duke, I've heard people as well, not just used to talk about it, like this game is seriously good.
Yeah.
We'll give it a go.
Can't recommend it enough. Give it a go.
We'll give it a go.
Give it a go, Ben, and send us an email with your thoughts. Let us
I will do.
Or just wait for Chinny to not be around again.
Nah,
he's to not be around.
Yeah, maybe. No, he'll be here always.
I don't know. I'll see him here now.
Kinda.
Yeah, true.
Kinda.
Well, I played on the PlayStation. Oh, you done? Sorry. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I played this week MotorStorm Pacific Rim on the PS3.
Oh, what a fucking game!
Come on, bro. I know.
MotorStorm was one of my favorite PS3 racing games. It was just so brilliant. I wish they would. Do you know when you talk about a series you would like them to revive?
Yeah.
That is totally one of them.
Do you know what? I was saying this to my friend Barrage when we did it. I says, this is the thing that made me want to buy a PlayStation 3, because I had the PlayStation 2 and a GameCube. But when you saw the graphics for the first time, and then there's 12 people, motorbikes, monster trucks, they can all smash into each other. There's all these different tracks with the dust mechanic. Like, I've never seen, the dust mechanics on it were unbelievable. The fire mechanics, the water would splash up on your TV screen. Oh my days! It was like that game made me buy a PS3. Like, I had to experience that, and I remember saving up all my pocket money to do it. But what a fantastic! And you know what? I played it now. I was like, does it hold up? That game still holds up.
I can totally imagine it does. Yeah, it looked so great back in the day.
We did a split screen, but like you can have the races where it's like 3 laps. But the one that we used to love was elimination. So you've got 15 seconds, and then whoever's last, it explodes, and you just got to keep in front. So you have these motorbikes, you're doing really well, but then all of a sudden you get run over by a monster truck. You're dropping last, so you're using your full boost, but then if you use it too much, obviously you can explode and then blow. So there's like a balance between everything, and there was never like one vehicle that was super OP. They all had fors and againsts. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, have a way to counter it, just like League of Legends.
Yeah, did you ever play it, Duke?
No. I was a Need for Speed Carbon guy.
No, that was a banging game. So to be fair,
Yeah.
but oh
This one came out when I don't think I was playing the PS3 much. So
no, but it,
Holy cow! Do you know what? I didn't realize it was so old.
Yeah, I
thought it was
know.
about 2010.
when we plugged it in, we were like,
2010,
wow.
2012.
Yeah.
2008. This came out.
Yeah. Do you know what?
I
I,
mean,
can't believe it's in it. It
Jesus,
still looks
17 years.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Like it
17
looks beautiful.
years old.
I know.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
we're getting old, ain't we?
I know. Can't believe it.
Definitely the veteran gamers.
That is crazy. By the way, Lewis in the chat saying
yeah.
Claire Obscure 20, Expedition 33 or whatever is game of the year in his opinion up to now.
Ooh. We're in that. That means, when it comes up, we've got to. Maybe I've got to play it this year
No,
then.
Avowed.
To give our opinion.
Oh.
But yeah, that Pacific Rim, and it was just absolutely class. I'd say it was good as well because they didn't have microtransactions then, really.
Yeah.
They had all different
Yeah.
skins you could have on it, all for free, all unlocked. Fantastic. And
Sure.
like,
They had it, by the way, they released, was it Armageddon? Was it Motorstorm Armageddon?
I
after this
don't want to
And
remember
it
that one,
was-
to be honest.
That wasn't that great.
Was it?
I
Was it? It
remember
wasn't
being-
a zombie invasion, was it? It was like the Earth's ending. Is that right?
Yeah, so they were like, you were racing over collapsing buildings and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, the first Motorstorm was good, but Pacific Rim was like
I
for
think
me,
that was the pinnacle. Yeah.
peak. Like, like you're just watching here, the dust particles. I know now this is nothing, but back then, and then
It was incredible.
and
for
the driving
time.
mechanic was good, and like the map would change over time. There's one more game I played on the PS3 like this game, but it would change over time, and that was like the thing that the PS2 could not do. The difference every time you go round, it would change little by little. But, yeah. Pacific Rim, does it hold up? Damn straight, it holds up.
It looks,
Yeah.
even looking at it here, I'm like, it still looks great.
Yeah,
It looks so good.
that's what
looks so
I've
good.
played.
Right, shall we do to a T? To a T.
I think we should. Playing the music now.
Yeah, bitch.
Play my game, bitch.
Yeah, it's got the Breaking Bad connection.
Yeah, bitch.
So this week's Play My Game, bitch, was To a T, which is by the developer of Katamari. So that's who's created this here game. Interesting concept. So just in case anyone's not aware, it's literally a story about a boy or girl, it's fairly gender fluid, who's stuck in a T-pose. So arms outstretched, can't move their arms at the elbows.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
That's the notion of the game, and it is a sort of an allegory for someone with a disability. You have a special spoon, you have a special toothbrush. Your mom has rigged up the sink in your bathroom so that you can wash your face more easily. And kids getting bullied. It's about using your dog who helps you out in order to get dressed, in order to do what you got to do. It's about dealing with people who make fun of you. It's about being different. It's about having, a body that won't work the way you want it to, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I love the impulse of it. I love the fact that it's designed to get people thinking about, the able-bodiedness of the world and the things that people have to do if they're disabled or they have some sort of other reality for their bodies.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should start by saying I don't think we're necessarily the target age.
We are not the target
audience.
age range. It's for young kids, and as far as that goes, it's great. It's cute. It's fluid to an extent. The thing that frustrated me the most is, first of all, it's a good thing we can see the dog's anus every time they show the dog.
So funny.
They're showing his
chocolate.
anus.
Do you know, Kay showed me a TikTok video the other day. She sent it me. She's like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And it's an old woman going, what's a chocolate starfish then?
Oh, for God's sake.
And
So
her daughter
that's
goes,
in this game.
It's a bumhole. A bumhole?
Yes.
I knew it was rude.
Right. So The other problem I had was I couldn't type on the keyboard. Like when you choose the kid's name, like it defaults to teen, and then I hit keyboard.
No, I couldn't.
And so like
you see,
my character's name
I-
Teen. Mom is like, "Are you ready
yeah.
for your 13th birthday, Teen?" And it's like, "Why? No,
Yeah.
You see,
so
I tried
annoying.
to change the name. loads
Mine
of
did
times.
work, but I didn't realize it was this type of game. I thought it would be like just a funny like T-pose game, so I called him Timmy T.
Oh
then-
no, you're one of the bullies he's
And then-
dealing with.
yeah,
Oh my
and
God,
then-
you
Ben, you
horrible
are the
person.
problem.
I know. As soon as it started, I was
His
like,
mom's making fun of him.
"Oh,"
His
I
dog's
was like,
making
"You know
fun
what?
of him.
I went, maybe this game is made for me.
You need to learn
yeah,
something about
I've learned
yourself.
a lot. I've learned
Yeah.
a lot. I've learned a lot.
The other thing that bugged me about it is that it's like you got to go to school, and he's like, I don't want to go to school, and his mom's like, I know, but we don't always want to do the things we have to do. And he goes to see the giraffe who is running the sandwich shop, and the giraffe is clearly going to help him. Like, hey, guess what? You know what? I worked hard, and now I run my own shop, and you'll make it through this hard time in your life. And then he gets to school, and it's like turning into this monster, and it's like, rah, rah, rah. And he's like, no, I don't want to deal with it. And then suddenly it's 3:00. And you're going home, and it's like, what the fuck? You had all this build up to how stressful school's going to be, and we skipped over it.
yeah,
And I'm
but
like, that doesn't make sense
no,
from a
to be
design
fair,
point of view.
Yeah, true. But episode 2, I played episode 2 as well, and you are in the classroom getting bullied, and you got
Fair
to
enough.
And you do have a
So,
decent sandwich.
It
you
does
know what I
build
mean?
up, and I thought
Well, I'm
the
sure
draft
you do
was
have a
quite
decent
good to
sandwich,
show-
but
the draft showed that like he's different as well.
Yeah,
like, when he was
right.
at school, and all that. And he has to
And
get
that's
up
fine.
early and work hard. So
yeah.
episode 1 for me, I thought was a nice clean.
It's
not
it's
too
mostly about
in
like
the
learning the
nitty-gritty.
ropes of the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just like getting ready for school, and that's fine. I wish that it would have been like a normal school day, and then he comes home, and then it was fine, and then the next day it could be like, this mean kid's gonna be there today, and I don't know. I just feel like it set up all this stuff about bullying, and then all we really got in day 1 was like a couple of flashbacks, and it just felt really disconnected for me. So I don't know.
Yeah. What I like the most about this, apart from anything else, is just how cool it looks. You know, it looks like a proper anime.
It does.
You
That's
know,
true.
everything. The animations are so great. Like even when he's like turning the tap on, you see his little fingers twisted in, and
Yes,
I I loved all of that sort of stuff. And
I'm sure you love the part where he has to clean up the dog poop, and then it lands on his head.
Of course, of course.
To be fair, I
Well,
say
do
it
you know
was
what?
good. On episode 2, they had a moment where he had to do a drawing, and because obviously he's stuck in the T pose, when you're using the mechanic of the right stick, you couldn't actually instantly do it. You had to like slowly
interesting.
do it. So
Yeah.
for me, I was like, actually, this shows that like his disability, it does affect him, because I was just like doing it like, come on, bro, why is it not?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then obviously that's the whole meaning.
Right,
of
and
it,
I think
like, you
that's the
can't just
beauty
reach
of
it.
a game like this, is that it can let you experience vicariously
definitely.
the difficulty that somebody would have if they have some sort of physical disability. And I just think that I don't know. For me, again, like you said, Stu, it's not for us. Like it's not meant for someone like me. So it's hard for me to review it because my whole thing is it fun to play? No, it's not fun to play unless you like having dog poop land on your head. But that said, everything about it is pretty cute and well made. I assume if you were to keep playing, you'd have more fun with it.
Even the way he kicks the door shut, you know, when he goes through a door and then he kicks it shut after himself. But you can see, like, this is a kid who's grown up with this issue and has adapted to, you know, navigate the world around him. And I just love how all those things have been thought about when they were designing the game. You know, how would he get through a door? How would he shut it after himself? You know, what would he do? What would be a natural thing for a person with this disability to be able to do? And I think for kids, you know, of a certain age, this is a great way to introduce them to, you know, how people cope with disabilities, you know, in a kind of fun and interesting way.
I think it's good as well that they had it where like he was still able to do, like, there was a bit where he was doing PE. He was able to do PE. So those kids that have got disabilities, like one of my friends is in a wheelchair, but he realised that, hey, I can do so much more. And now he's just around Canada right now, traveling the world in a wheelchair.
Nice.
And he's gone up to the forests. He's got these ones, and then he's gone to this snow section. And like when I speak to him, sometimes he's like, when he was younger, he felt like, oh, I'm limited to just be living in Leicester. But now he's travelled all around the world in a wheelchair, and he's absolutely done more than most people who have got abilities like, not if you say they're normal, but like they've held it back. But he's not stopped himself doing it. So I think They've got a good balance.
And it's a good reminder that the world needs to be more accessible to everybody because
True,
we all
true,
benefit when we do make it more accessible. Same is true in the high school where I teach. You know, we have curb cuts and we have automatic doors. If I'm carrying stuff or I have a wheelie cart with stuff on it, like I benefit from those things too, even though I don't use a wheelchair. So this is a good reminder as a game to start kids thinking early about like how the world is available to some of us more than others.
Yeah, and I also think that hopefully kids who play this will think like we should be more accepting of people, you know, with all the differences.
Exactly. Don't make fun of people who are different.
Yeah, exactly. So
Speaking of which, the Pee Wee Herman,
nothing else.
the Pee Wee Herman documentary is fantastic. There's a part in it where he talks about, I wanted to tell young people especially, but everybody, that it not only should we accept people who are different, we should celebrate it. So I think this game is sort of like that too.
Yeah,
Max,
I really like it.
thumbs up for me.
So big thumbs up from me.
Yeah, I guess I'll give it a thumbs up, even though I didn't personally enjoy it. I think it is well made in many ways. So yes, thumbs up as well.
So let me ask you this, Ben, are you going to finish it, seeing as you played there's only 5 episodes, I think. So it's only,
is that true?
5? Yeah, I think there's only 5 or 6
wow.
episodes.
Do you know
It
what?
takes about 5 hours to finish, I think.
Yeah, you see, now you're selling me on that. 5 hours. If I've got spare 5 hours, well,
You can do
Yeah,
that.
I'll
What are
do
you
it.
going to
Not
play
even-
more
it's not
PS3
even-
games?
It's not
play
even
it.
that now, Ben.
Don't
You
make me
played
break
2
your face.
episodes, so
Yeah,
it'll be
true.
less.
Yeah,
less than
exactly.
5
true.
hours.
I think you're like if you're in primary school or something like that, and you had this game on the
Yeah.
PCs or something like that that people could play at lunchtime. There's enough mechanics game wise that people would play it, and then maybe they'd learn something. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably continue playing this just to see where it goes.
Yeah, there you go.
All
to
right.
a T.
So there you go.
Who
Thumbs
knew?
up for this one.
Who knew? Have you got anything else, Ben, before we move on to emails and speak pipes?
I've only played one more game, but it's not that important. It's only split second.
Chinny's going to go, oh my God, split second.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
a little bit about
Talk about it.
Okay. Because we played Pacific Rim, and then we were like, what other game where you go around the maps and it changes bit by bit? And I was like, I looked through the folder and I went, dude, do you remember Split Second? As I
Split
looked
Second,
out, we were
man.
like, what a game. We did the airport level. Do you know the one that was on the demo?
Yeah, where everything explodes.
Oh.
It's so cool.
That's another one that like we don't need a second one, but like if we could have like a remastered version of Split Second, I would purchase that. And
You
like,
see, I really like Blur, and everyone hated that game.
yeah, I think maybe that came out at the same time, round about Split Second.
It was around about the same time.
Yeah,
and
it was one or the other.
It was kind of like a more adult version of Mario. You know, it
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
you know Mario Kart. It had all the level ups and all that kind of stuff going on. Like you got as you race around the map.
yeah, but this one, I know it was. I think it was made by Disney. When we looked, we were like, Disney made this game, but like, oh, what the map design on it again. I think this is the period where they realize actually maps can change every single time. Whereas now,
Yeah.
most maps like Mario Kart stuff, they even have it where like you don't even go around the same course. It's just completely different. You never even touch
Yeah.
it. Whereas this was
Yeah.
that period where everyone was experimenting and trying different things, but. Oh,
It was almost kind of one of the best periods for racing games because we also had Burnout Paradise came out
what a
around this
game.
time as well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there were some
Classic.
amazing Driver San Francisco. You know.
that was
I
a
don't know
bad
if that
boy
really
game.
belongs in the same category, but I know what you mean. And I appreciate I feel seen in this
Do
conversation.
you know what? There was a brilliant game mode of that where you played split screen and one of you had to like hide and change modes without people finding out who is the fake car. That's the one on San Francisco. We used to play that one. Like that game mode
I
was
don't remember
wicked.
that one, but yeah, believe you.
Yeah, bad boy. But yeah, Split Second again. Does it hold up? 10 out of 10. It holds up.
Yeah.
Wicked
It
game.
does.
But
Yeah, it was kind of the heyday of racing games. wasn't
See, and
it,
that's the thing
around
now,
that
like,
period?
for a while it was okay, let's go. I still have my PlayStation 1. Let's just, for old time's sake, let's throw some of these on, see how they feel. And at the end of the hour of gaming, you'd be like, I'm glad we have more modern games now. But
yeah, I agree.
we are in an era where, you go back to the PS3 and there's still some quality things on there that you can still play for quite a while and not feel like I'm ready to be back to modern times now. So
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
one of the
that's
nice
true.
things about the world we live in.
But yes, thank you for letting me speak about that. But that's it. That's
Yeah,
what I've played.
Chinny is also glad that you spoke about it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Okay,
he is.
it's time.
Okay.
Let's do emails first. We've got a
Let's do me telling you about the Michelin thing first.
All right,
man.
okay.
Hit us with
Yeah.
it.
This is from guide.michelin.com. So we all agree this is a source that we can trust. This is the official Michelin website. Do you think there's a better source besides Michelin.com? All right.
I don't know.
So-
They might lie though, because we don't know. Say we
Well,
want to
here's
sell
what it
more
says.
tires.
Here's what it says. The tire company was established in 1889 by these brothers in France. Driving was perceived as a novelty to most, with less than 3,000 cars in all of the country of France. The brothers were quick to recognize driving and mobility as a lasting trend. To encourage more road travel and hence boost tire sales, they decided to create a comprehensive guidebook for motorists which cataloged hotels, restaurants, mechanics, and gas stations. In 1900, the very first edition of the Michelin Guide was published, and 35,000 copies were given out for free. So, yes, they were trying to sell tires, but no, it doesn't say anything about trying to get around planned obsolescence or anything. So you're partially
that's
correct.
Not what I said.
That
No,
is what you
that's
said.
not what I said.
That
No,
is
it
what you
isn't.
said.
I said rather than making the tires wear out quicker, they just decided to get people to wear the tires.
Yeah,
out
but we don't know that this is rather. I mean, you're right that it doesn't say that they didn't make the tires wear out quicker, but they might have also done that.
Well, I don't think so. They were more sophisticated, I would have said. The French.
Well, they're French, so of course they're going to be more sophisticated.
La French, la Française.
You can say it's a coincidence, but nothing's a coincidence when it's that far away to drive from restaurant to restaurant.
Yeah.
All right,
And
we're
gas
ready for
station to
emails
gas
now. Let me
station.
play the email song here.
Whoa, that ruled.
Go ahead.
Right. So, first email this evening is off Lee Griggs.
Yay, Lee Griggs.
Hey, God, this brings back memories. He says, One Man Rock Band. Hi, guys. I'd like to know if Chini remembers the advert he did for One Man Rock Band that was on the show. Do you know, can I just say, I think I came up with the idea for that because I found, I think it was some YouTube video with a one-man band on. And I said to Chini, we should do a skit because we used to do these weird skits all the time.
Yeah, I
We'd make up
remember.
these
Classic.
skits, and I was like, this would be really funny. And then Chini did all the voiceover for it and created it. So I think I came up with the idea, and then he made it a reality.
You got a story by
because obviously
credit.
he was the guy who could do stuff with editing and all that.
Sure.
And it was brilliant. Do you remember this? And he had like an umpire and a kazoo, with kazoo.
Sure.
Oh God, we came up with so many stupid things back in the old show.
Yes, we did.
One Man Rock Band. Also, the sections where he got Matt describe an unknown game based on the title were hilarious. Oh God, yeah, they were great.
Yeah. That
You used to get Matt.
and Millie used to describe what she was seeing on the cover of the game. We had
Yeah.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
quizzes.
some a lot of fun.
And then you
God.
doing your phone calls.
Cranky Duke.
Yeah, Cranky
Oh
Duke.
my
Oh,
days.
yeah,
Cranky
classic
Duke.
stuff, man. There's the reasons to go back and listen to the old shows, people.
I'm
Not a
trying to
lot of
remember
them, but
what
there's
was-
some.
What was the game skit with the welly wanging?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh my days, that is
What
nostalgia
was-
hit.
What was it? We did one with welly wanging. I
Don't
can't
remember no
what
welly
it was
wanging.
now.
There was.
Uh,
They definitely.
I just don't remember it.
It was something to do with a pigeon. What were it? Oh
Assassin's Creed.
It'll
There's
come-
pigeons in that, right?
no! There was a game skit, and it was something to do with. Have you played that pigeon something or other? Weren't it?
Yes. Dude, I'm never gonna remember this, but I do vaguely in my head. I do remember this. For
Oh God! That's
write
so
in next
funny.
week. Somebody who said
Right, anyone who
somebody right now is
remembers.
going. Oh my days! It's
Yeah,
this. It's
come
this.
on.
It's this.
Right in.
Come on, we got
Podcast,
to go do
Gmail,
some
what
welly
is it?
wanging.
What's the
What were it,
email
pigeon
address?
something shooter or something. It was something
No, what
to
was
do
the
with
email address that
something.
we're writing into? For those who know.
Oh, right. For those who know, vgpodcastuk@gmail.com it is. So it's
VG Podcast UK.
UK at gmail.com. If you can
gmail.com.
remember what was the skit to do with a pigeon and welly wanging that we did back in the
Yeah.
day. There's no prizes, but you'll be safe in the knowledge you got it right. So see if you can remember. I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember. it's gonna do my
Are
head.
you going to be able to let it go of this or not? Or is this pause the show and come back after 45
No.
minutes?
We'll let
Oh,
somebody.
okay.
We'll let someone write in. I'm going to let it go. I'd also like to thank Chinny for his very entertaining PUBG streams that got me through a rather boring task I had to do. Anyway, keep up the good work, lads. Cheers, Lee. Yeah, we're not as creative as we used to be.
Well, we are. We just don't have the energy for it.
Yeah,
I
we
have
just
ideas,
time
but
or energy.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, a long time ago. Anyway, next email's from John Collins, and he says, sharing
John
a
Collins.
joke. Sharing a joke. An Englishman and a Frenchman and a stunning blonde and a plain brunette are sharing a compartment on a train as it winds its way through the Alps.
Okay.
Every now and then, the train passes through a tunnel, plunging the compartments into total darkness. On one such occasion, a loud slap echoes through the space. And as the train emerges back into daylight, the Frenchman is rubbing his sore red cheek.
Oh, zut alors, qu'est-ce que tu as fait?
The brunette thinks, I bet that sleazy Frenchman tried to grow up the beautiful blonde and she gave him what he deserved. The blonde thinks, I bet that grubby Frenchman was looking to touch me up in the dark, grabbed the dull brunette by mistake and got a slap for it. And the Frenchman thinks, I bet that sneaky Englishman took advantage of the dark to feel up that blonde and she slapped me by mistake. And the Englishman thinks, I can't wait for another tunnel so I can slap that silly French twat again. Wow.
You know,
There you go.
I do love the French.
We do love the
Yeah,
French, but we like hearing about them getting smacked in the face as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why French chefs make omelets with only one egg, right?
Why is that?
Because one egg is enough.
Did
You
you
know, if the Prime Minister of France can get slapped, then any Frenchman can get slapped easily.
Yeah, it's true.
So a snail goes to a garage.
Yeah.
Snail goes to a garage. And he says to the garage owner, he says, I'd like to buy you a new car. But before I take it away, I'd like it painted bright yellow and have S's printed all over it.
Why would you want that? Why would you want bright yellow
Exactly.
with S's all over it?
And the garage guy asked the same question. He goes, why would you want that? And he said, so when I'm driving down the street, people could go, ooh, look at that S-Cargo. Look at that S-Cargo.
You know, I have a friend who was a professional driver for 20 years, but he has nothing to show for it.
Flipping heck.
Yeah.
A guy
All right,
bought
enough with the
Scody.
French
You'll
jokes.
know-
Here we go.
One more.
Moving on.
Well, it's nothing
Yeah.
to do with France. Nothing to do with
Right.
France.
There's these two
but
cats. There's un, deux,
this is-
trois, and there's one, two,
this is a
three. And
very-
the American cat dies, or the American cat makes it across the river because un, deux, trois cat sank. Go ahead, Stu. Yeah.
So final one, right? Anyone of a certain age will get this joke. Most people will be like, "What's this? Why was Skoda bad?" Because they're great cars. Skodas are great. But back in the day, Skodas were terrible cars. Terrible things. So a guy goes to the garage and he buys a Skoda, and then a week later he comes back and he says to the garage guy, he says, "I'm really sorry." He says, "But this Skoda like you've sold me, it only gets to 60 uphill." And the owner goes, "Well, what's wrong with that? 60, well, that's pretty good." And he goes, "Yeah, well, I'll live at 63." I live at 63.
See, I remember jokes like that were about the Yugo, because back in the 80s,
Yeah,
there was
Yugo,
the
terrible
Yugoslavian
cars.
car. Like, you pick a bad car, now it would be Cybertruck. Like, it would be the same word, same joke. It just, whatever.
Cybertruck. So let me see if it works. Here we go.
The
I'll do
schmuck goes to buy a
Skoda joke,
Cybertruck. It's because his penis is small.
and I'll see if it works. Okay.
No, you're not going to tell the same
so-
joke you just told.
No,
It's-
he
it's
is.
not
He is.
fun.
And we're going to let him. We're going to let him.
No, different joke. So what do you call a Cybertruck with a sunroof?
I don't know. What do you call it?
A skip. Here's another one. So a guy goes to the garage with his Cybertruck and he goes, "Excuse me, have you got a petrol cap for my Cybertruck?" And the garage owner goes, "Sounds like a first swap to me."
Two women go into a bar and they
you
talk about the
waste-
Bechdel
you-
test.
Talk
Right,
about the
okay.
what?
The Bechdel test. It's okay. One person out there will get it. Maybe Jacinta will get
I
it.
have
It's
no
okay.
idea what you get.
I know.
Do you know
It's
what?
right.
You're wasted on this podcast. Like, you need a
wasted.
comedy podcast. Come
Anyway,
on.
thank
Go
you,
on Joe
John.
Rogan.
You got us telling a load of terrible jokes. So thank you very much for your email.
Yeah.
Okay. The next email this week is from Alex Green, and he says, I finally gave it a go.
Oh yeah, huh?
Finally
Bathing.
gave it a go. He says, last week I said I would play The Witcher 3 and report back.
Oh, that's right.
I've played around less than 3 hours. Most of it was cutscenes in the beginning.
There's a lot of
And I've been
cutscenes.
busy in real life and not had much time to game, but it's a start. I finally found out what that Gwent game is. Even though
Ugh.
it's tutorial, I was still lost. I
Fuck
didn't really
Gwent.
understand it at all. I
No.
hated that.
Yeah,
You only have to do that one thing, and then
Yeah.
you never have to play it
But
again.
you know
if
what's
don't want
funny?
to. It's
I
bad.
just saw a thread on Reddit recently that was like, "What's the best mini game in any game ever?" And the top answer, and like the
Gwent.
top 3 were Gwent. Gwent. They made a whole game out of it, dude. Gwent. Man, shut up. Fuck you and fuck Gwent.
Yeah. I read every pop-up, but no, found it too complicated.
Yep.
How many pop-ups are in this game after every step I take and every menu I open?
Yeah.
By the looks of it, for fuck's sake. Found a bulletin board in a village, did a few side quests, but unsure if I
That's
should
the
just
fun part of that
concentrate
game.
on the main story. No, do the side quests. They're fun.
Yeah, side quests.
And you do.
You don't want to race
Yeah.
right to Sovngarde, man. You gotta take it time.
Yeah, and you do get
explore.
XP for doing the side quest, so it's definitely worth
And you gotta
doing
see
them.
this world, man. It's a beautiful world.
How many times do you have to whistle your horse?
Nice.
It takes forever to find
on,
me.
Roach.
Got a mind of its own. Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
beat Roach though. Roach is great. It's got personality.
It's not. I mean, any game can have a horse just appear underneath you. That happens in New World, but this is not that game, man.
Roach buggers off to do his own thing for a bit, and then he
Yeah.
like reappears when he feels like
It makes it
It's
more
all good.
meaningful when he does come to you.
Yeah, exactly. Got attacked by some creatures and nearly died, even on easy difficulty. Don't worry. I've fucking turned combat off on most games these days if I
Yeah.
can. I've completed every Call of Duty game on veteran hardest difficulty. If I
Wow.
play a game and I'm unsure if I like it or not, I always play it on easy because I don't want a harder time with it.
Yeah,
I haven't got a
sense.
verdict yet. It's early days, but I will continue on with it. Thank you for your analysis. Well, I'm interested to find out how you get on.
remember,
Yeah.
So the swords do make a difference.
Yeah, you do
because
need both
one of my-
swords. You need regular
Yeah,
steel
don't
and
do a
silver.
Duke.
Don't do a
Regular,
duke.
regular is for like humans.
Yeah.
The other one is for monsters and
Monsters.
things.
Rah.
That is the key because let me tell you,
Like a
I know
Dungeon
too many
Dragon.
people that played that game didn't realize that swords mattered, and they're
Also,
like,
you
yeah,
can
I
double
know,
jump
I
in
know.
Rocket League.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
again, yeah. But it's just unbelievable that like some of my friends were like 10 hours in, like, bro, this game's rock hard. Like it sounds like what you've just writ. And then as soon as I was like, wait, please tell me you swap swords. And he was like, oh my goodness. Game
Yeah.
changer.
Yes,
Can
it
I
is.
just say someone on this podcast did that very thing? It
What
wasn't
idiot would
me.
do that? What idiot
I
would
know,
do
it
that, eh?
A cool guy who's too
Uh,
busy being awesome to fiddle with paying attention to what the game tells you.
Anyway, next email this evening is off JP Snake, and he says Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay.
He says, "Hello, veteran gamers. Hope you're
Hello.
all well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a quick shout out to a game that has been around for 11 years. Can you believe it?
Wow.
11 years.
I can.
Jesus Christ. But I tried it out for the first time this weekend. That game is Elder Scrolls Online. Steam had the base game on sale for $5.
Yeah.
$5. So I figured, why not try it? I
Why
love
not?
it. It's the perfect style of game. I crave it right now.
You know,
Huge world to explore. Oh, so
it is
let
a
me
good game.
finish.
It is a good game, but like the combat is just not great. I wish the combat were better.
Can you let me finish? Can you let me finish?
You interrupt emails all the time. What are you talking about?
Huge world to explore, active
Yes.
combat, and an overall really polished MMO. The last MMO I got into was Star Wars: The Old Republic. After beating
Yeah,
Avowed,
that's
I was
classic.
left feeling like the world was mostly dead and empty.
Yes.
But ESO is the opposite.
Yeah,
The
I'll
world
agree
feels
with that.
alive.
Yeah.
Does it hold up for an 11-year-old game
Yes.
that still gets updates? It absolutely does. Take care. Keep on gaming, Jay.
And it does show up when you do I do searches all the time about like what's the best MMO to play in 2025. Everybody's always saying Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, Star Wars Old Republic, Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy 14. So, you know, you're not wrong in terms of what people think. I've played it like 4 times trying to get into it, and I just can't do it. The combat is just too fiddly. And I want to like it. I mean, it's Elder Scrolls. I love the Elder Scrolls. And the other thing is like you can get gold but it's not going to get you anywhere. Like, there's other currencies that you need to be getting, and I'm just like, I don't want to have to get all these other currencies. Of course there is,
because just to remind you, it's an MMO.
I know. I'm just saying though, Guild Wars 2 isn't really like that.
MMO.
And New World also is not like that. So, whatever. There are some MMOs that fight against that notion.
Whatever. Anyway, final email this evening is off Jason.
Of course it is.
And he says a swarm is coming.
Ooh, okay.
2 Louisiana escaped prisoners remain on the loose. Hopefully the veterans will get online to coordinate the ultimate booby traps. Meanwhile, in Washington state, a truck containing 250 million bees turned over.
Oof.
Don't worry, only 14 million buzzed away. Hopefully the veterans will get online to coordinate the ultimate booby traps. My question is, why is it allowed to house 250 million bees on one truck? I shake my head in disbelief.
That's a good question.
I know, 250 million bees. Another question on my mind, and I will be honest with you, I think Stu is full of it. He claims to be having so much fun with these incredible Game of the Year contenders. I say none of them are that good. Turn-based and puzzle my balls. Some of the highest rated games in his chat you guys recently played are kind of shit. What? What are you talking about, Mr. Gallagher? Have you even played these games?
How very strange.
Where is the B game where you are a swarm of killers in the Seattle attacking cops, commuters and beekeepers on the scene, working towards a flight to take out Canada?
That could be kind of fun,
Where is the 10 loose prisoners chase game? All I see is the same old crap. I think I will play Indiana Jones next. Duke rejects the hero of every boy that grew up in the 80s. Chinny and Stu act like it's like whatever. I have a feeling it may be the Holy Grail. A game actually worth playing. Well, let's see what you think when you played it, Gallagher.
Yeah, really. Anybody can talk a lot about a game they haven't played.
You see, that's when I'm insulting him, when I actually say his name correctly.
Yeah, and the only B-movie game I can remember is the B-movie game. You remember the one from 2007?
I remember the movie. I don't remember the game. Was it any good?
No, it was not.
Garbage movie tie-in.
Yeah,
cheap cash.
That's probably the only B game. That's probably the only B game I can think of, really.
Well, let's find out.
Any more B games?
Video games.
You know what? I dedicate Wasp.
There is one called Bee Simulator.
I'll tell you a game with bees in it.
Okay.
Which is that one that's set in the garden where you have to escape the garden, where you miniaturize. What was that called?
Okay.
The Ubisoft thing. Is it Ubisoft?
Oh, yes.
You're talking about Grounded?
Grounded, yes.
Grounded. There you go. I knew that. There you go.
So here's a website called mollyindustria.org, and it says, every bee video game reviewed by accuracy. And this is from 2019, so that's a while ago. Ooh. But Keeper... Bee Hunting Simulator 2016, Bee. A lot of these are itch.io games. So Bees in a Pod, A Queen and Her Hive. Yeah, these are all fucking itch.io games. I'm not looking through this.
You know what? There's a niche next E3, whatever it is, it will be bees. Let's bring them back.
Yeah.
There is only one game that will be your game of the year. Let's hope it isn't the shit you've been playing, for fuck's sake.
Damn. Tell us what you really
think. He's swinging hard.
He is.
Wow. Actually, I said that wrong. He said for your sake. It wasn't fuck's sake. But either will do, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
the way he's talking to this week, he's.
Why are you so grumpy, Jason?
Yeah, Jason.
He just doesn't know a good game when it hits him on the back of the head.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
He's maybe played too many weird and shit games, and now that I'm playing,
I think he wants Pentiment 2. Come on, man.
It's not weird and shit enough.
Yeah.
But thank you, Jason, as always.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
We have got one more email. Here we go. Are you ready for the final email?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, what's the final email?
It is from a friend of the show, our friend of the show. It's friend of the show. Friend of the show, Almar Parvez. And he's
cleaning out the attic.
Not a question, but a thank you. He said, hi, Stu and Chinny. Hope this email finds you in salubrious health.
Okay.
When you read this email out, it will be 4 more sleeps till Switch 2 day.
Okay.
Or 6 for me, as mine comes on Saturday. Woo!
Woo!
You guys have spent more than a decade podcasting together. That is something that after you are gone, your families will cherish and love. What a gift that is.
Maybe.
What a
I
gift.
lost my father in my... I doubt it. My wife will not be listening to this when I die, I don't think. I think
Do you know what? She might join when he dies. She'll be like, for the memory of Stu, I
Yeah,
will
we gotta
come on
keep it
here
moving.
weekly and keep it going.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what you been playing? It'd just be mobile phone games like Candy Crush. I've been playing Candy Crush.
I lost my dear father in March. I'm not adjusted to my new life. The old brain is struggling to reform neural pathways because when someone passes on, your brain chemistry changes.
It's true.
And what would help greatly is if Dad had over a decade of podcasts I could just put on and fall asleep to.
That would be
Alas,
very
my
interesting.
father wasn't a veteran gamer. But you three handsome devils are. For Millie and Rosa, for your respected partners, your siblings and dear friends, a podcast will be a godsend. I adore you guys. Veteran gamer for life, yo, Armor. Oh, thanks, Armor. That's kind
Thank
of
you,
cool.
Thank
Amar.
you,
That is
Amar.
very sweet. And I'll say this: my buddy Garrett passed suddenly in November 2023, and I had interviewed him for the Sincast. And as soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh shit!" Suddenly, this interview became so precious because his kids will be able to hear it, and yeah, I just think it's a really important thing to do. So, like, if you have someone very important to you in your life, go ahead and interview them. Like, get the audio and save it somewhere precious because you're gonna want to listen to that later on. So.
Yeah, I did that too. I vlogged. There was periods in my life where I knew there were going to be big years, like my brother getting married or something, and I vlogged for the whole year, like anything interest I did, and like my mum and dad, just like what you've been up to today, just like the
Yeah,
basics
sure.
of life. But like,
Yep.
I had that realization because I'm just turned 30, and like
Yeah.
I was meant to be going out with all my friends and having a great time. And I just stayed around my mum and dad's and just sat and had a cup of tea with them. And they were like, they don't want to do anything. I was like, no, this moment right now is so precious
Yeah,
because
there you go.
who knows what's future holds.
It's true. It's good to
Well,
give
I'm sorry to
thanks
hear
for
that,
all
Amar.
the people in our lives and to
Amen.
hold on to the memories of good times. The pain now is part of the happiness then. That's the deal, as they say in the movie Shadowlands.
Absolutely. Right, we have got one speak pipe to do, and then we're going to
We
get the
do
hell out
have
of here.
a speak pipe.
Pipe, it's the way to leave a message
it's
for
crap.
us.
No, that's crap, as Chinny says. Yeah, so this is from St. Diesel. It's titled Expect the Expected, and it is speak pipe number 757. So let's have a listen, shall we?
Hey, Veteran Gamer, St. Diesel back again. It's the 1st of June 2025, and in 4 days' time, on the 5th of June, the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. But I'm not going to talk about that because that would be the expected thing. No, instead, I'm going to talk about film tropes. Over the last year or so, I don't know the exact date, the UK has acquired the Tubi app, which, if you don't know, is TUBI. It's basically an app you can download where it lets you view lots of free films and TV shows with the occasional advert, but I don't think that they're too intrusive. And because I've been watching lots of films, I think I've noticed more than ever lots of film tropes. I'm going to list a few of them here. And while I'm doing that, I want you to think, what are some of your most disliked film tropes? And maybe you have some favourite ones as well. First of all, horror films. Any sort of reflective surface, a mirror, a window, shiny metal. There's something horrific appears there. You spin around. Oh, and it's gone. Thrillers. Well, if you're the good guy and you come across something incriminating, you bring someone to have a look, or the police to have a look, and it's all cleaned up, or it's gone altogether. And finally, action films. Seemingly you can hit the bad guys with your one gun with impunity, but there's 20 of them, and they're shooting at you, and they can't seem to land a hit.
Nope.
And I'll leave it at that. Until next time.
Thanks, St. Diesel. My main one is one I haven't seen in a while, but The Damsel in Distress has always driven me nuts. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, what the fuck can that woman not do anything to save herself? My favorite example was with the Mortal Kombat movie, because I don't remember the name of the woman, but Sonya Blade or whatever it was. She was like badass, kicking butt, taking no prisoners. End of the movie, she's chained up in some mini skirt. Help me! I can't save myself. Someone has to help me, and someone has to save her. It's like, what are you talking about? That's so ridiculous.
I'd say the worst. Sorry.
Oh, go on. You go first, Ben. Go for it.
You sure?
Yeah.
The worst I have is when they have to keep the franchise alive. Like the worst one experience I ever had of that was the Jurassic Park
No.
like probably 4 or 5 movies ago. There was a moment where they literally wrapped it up so clean, and there's this
Yeah.
little child, and she's like 13 years old, and it goes, if you press this button, all the dinosaurs come out. And I remember in the movie, I literally screamed, do not press that damn button. If you press the button, and I just went, I remember I just swore my head off. I went, for F's sake, this girl has just killed millions of humans. And I was like, that's it. I've never seen a Jurassic Park since. Like, the Avengers, I don't want to spoil it, but like, the Avengers was such a badass film. And then the last one, it was like, it's all a perfect circle. I'm like, oh, the ending, when he clicks his fingers, if that was the end, do you know how many people would be speaking about that now? Like,
Of course.
what an ending.
It
like,
would make an
that
impact.
was the ultimate. What it actually was like, all of it didn't really matter.
It would
I'm like,
make an impact, but what it wouldn't make is more money.
Money, yeah,
exactly.
true, but that's why
It's capitalism.
I always wait until the series, TV show, or like movies, or as a whole, are complete, and I go. I asked for their opinion. I'm not going along with no more of these Jurassic Parks, Marvel, Star Wars. I'm out.
The trope I hate the most, right, and this applies to both TV shows and movies, is someone, it's like bright daylight, and someone drives what's seemingly like the other side of the town, and it's suddenly pitch black.
Yeah.
The amount of times that happens,
True.
especially horrors
Yeah.
and thrillers,
Right.
it's suddenly dark, and it's like... They've driven about a mile. Why is it suddenly
Because they
dark
drove
now?
real slow is why.
They went for waffles. They stopped.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
didn't see that bit.
Waffles.
It's like in these movies, it just goes dark instantly.
Sure.
It's like
That
pitch
is very
black all of a
obnoxious, no
sudden.
doubt.
For me, I hate
And
laughing
hate
tracks.
that.
For me, it's laughing tracks as well. You know, they're laughing. I feel like they've finished it
Yeah.
now, but
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
they're
the
mostly moved away
worst.
from it. Yeah, I'm glad we got rid of those. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's a while
worst.
since I've heard one of those. They went on to, this show is recorded in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Clerks, the
yeah.
cartoon show, said Clerks is drawn in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
All right. So are we ready for
Okay.
shout outs then?
I think we are. So
It's
as
time for a
Ben is
shout
the
out.
guest-
Hey!
Hey.
Yeah, as Ben is the guest this week, let's let Ben go first.
Go ahead,
Right, so
Ben.
that's
Guest
fine.
it up.
I'll shout out my brother for helping me learn how a caravan works. We're reversing it. That was patience was needed there, and to be fair, he showed it pretty strong.
Fun times.
Yeah, and my cousin's band. You know, if you ever make it onto Glastonbury, I give you a shout out now so I can play it and say, dude,
Yeah.
I was a beginner. I was the #1 fan right from the start.
You were.
So can I get a ticket? And can the veteran gamers please come to Glastonbury? Get us free tickets.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'll be up for
There
that.
you go. Yeah. And
Sure.
you guys as well. Thank you so much for inviting me. And Chinny, I hope you're doing. He's on holiday, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gran
he is.
Canaria.
He's in
Chilling
Forte
right now.
No, wasn't it Forteventura?
Yeah,
was
I
Gran
think
Canaria.
was. I hope you're eating lovely food and not drinking because you don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, over to. I'm gonna give a throw
Stu.
to Stu.
Well, I'm going to shout out you, Ben, for obviously
Oh,
joining
thanks,
us this
sir.
week and helping out.
Thank you for the
And
invite.
also, as always, shout out to all the people who email in because it is a big part of the show. So we do appreciate all the emails, quizzes,
Yeah.
thoughts, and jokes. We
And speak
appreciate
pipes.
everything and speak pipes that everybody
Yeah.
sends in. And a big shout out to the Patreons. I
Yeah.
can't read the names because Chinny's a bit precious about that stuff, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Give us some
You know what I'm saying?
money!
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you
So
mean.
yeah, so you know what I mean. So a big shout out to all you guys who contribute again to help make the show what it is. So thank you very much. Over to you, Duke.
Yeah, I'll shout out Antonio. We played some Rocket League today. Shout out to Amar cleaning out his attic. Shout out to everybody who joined us in the YouTube chat. Chill Robots, Sarah Lee, Mr. Nightlore, Antonio, and Mr. Barry Scott. And also shout out to Ricey because I posted my time lapse of the clouds on our Discord, and he said, no goats seen, 0 out of 10. And it so happens that I had a different time lapse that I had made last summer that does feature some goats in the distance. So I posted that as well, and he was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. One of these days I'll have to put the camera right up near the goat pen and film them doing some wackiness just for him because he likes the goats, and goats are fun to look at because they're cute. So, and shout out to the Duchess because she's awesome as well. All right, are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, good night, much love.
All right, show's over. No refunds. You heard the robot. Get out.
Here comes the music. Why don't you? I should grade more papers, but I'm not going to. Why don't you?
Just switch off the television set and go and do something less boring instead. Sitting at home watching TV. Her love's no good to me.
Yeah, that was the exit music, the outro, as they call it.
Banger.
Well, I think I've got to accept that I can't fix it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just can't fix.
You know, it's crazy.
Can't
Like
fix it.
these headbuds that I got from Skull Candy, for like at one point this week, they would not pair up. One of them would work, and then I'd reset them, and the other one would work. And I'd be like, what the fuck? But I couldn't get them both to work. And there's like, you know, you go online, there's the manual, and it says to do this. And then there's a lot of people posting on forums like, I tried that, it's still not working. And then someone finally, like 7 pages into the forum, is like, try doing the steps, but after step 3, push the button 4 times. And I did that, and it didn't work. And I was like, what the fuck? So I tried it again, and then it did work. And I was like, what the fuck? So it's just so frustrating how there's all these tech things that people just have to figure out how they're going to solve them.
I know. That's why Reddit,
So
if it
annoying.
ever gets deleted, I'm going to cry.
Oh,
'Cause
God,
every
yeah.
so often, I have a question, and then I
Yep.
Reddit it or ChatGPT it, one of the
Yeah.
two. But Reddit, someone had the specific problem
Yeah.
I had from like
Yeah.
12 years ago. I'm like,
Right.
that guy is a legend.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, I want to say thank you. And you can't because their account's
No.
gone, or, you know.
Yeah,
thread
I
is
actually
locked or
do.
whatever.
I go, if you ever read this, I owe you a beer. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
But
totally.
Just out of interest, just
Stu,
try
you
some
knocked
music
your
now.
camera loose. Now we see your ceiling.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's because I'm messing around with my headphones.
Oh, boy.
I've just plugged some headphones into the earphone socket on the laptop. Let's see if that makes a difference. 'cause
That'd
the
be funny if
other one's
that was the
USB.
thing that happened. Okay,
'Cause the
so
other's USB.
here's the Final Fantasy music.
Right, on that note, I've got to go to bed because I'm up for work in the morning. But
That
thank
still
you
didn't do it, you said?
guys.
Thank
Okay.
you
No,
so
it did,
much.
Okay.
Made no difference.
Yeah, thank you
Stay
both.
safe.
Have a good rest of the week.
You too.
And I will speak to you
Well-
both I'll speak to you sometime in the future, Ben. I guess when you come
Amen.
in again, and
Yep,
I'll
that's
speak
cool.
to you next week, Duke.
Yeah,
See you
peace.
later, all.
Bye, all.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, that's enough. No more talking.